Alright, so this time around, talk about VHS Viral. It's hot as fuck, so hair is up. Fucking sweating like fuck right now. Had to turn the fan off for this damn video. Anyway, so, ugh, excuse me. So this time around, it's called Viral, so this one I have to say really wasn't, like, that good. You know, like, I really liked the second one. The first one, because it was the first one, not bad. This one was just kind of like, I don't know if I want to say they're pushing their luck with this series. Like, I don't know if they're going to do, like, a fourth one. Is this going to be, like, a constant, like, thing? I feel like it's going to, like, combine and be, like, ABCs of VHS, like, kind of thing. Like, I don't know. Anyway, so, the whole, the thing that ties it all in, which doesn't make sense, how it's tied in, because like, the last two movies, the way how it's tied in is that, you know, you're... Oh, my phone is moving. Okay. Is that you're a person, you're following these people who are kind of vlogging their robbery or investigation, and they go into a house and they find these tapes, oddly enough, are on VHS, or in the previous one, it was some dude's, like, MacBook or something, but still, it was like he did have tapes lying around, and that's how the segments happen, is that you're viewing what the main person in the story is viewing. Whereas this one, it's just like, it's just this dude and his girlfriend and their camera, and it makes me think, like, did they all share the same camera? Like, is this, like, kind of like a Cloverfield thing, where, like, oh, I'm, like, recording over, you know, you and your girlfriend kind of shit. Like, this part doesn't make sense. Although, in the end, it kind of, like, ties it all together, and it was just like, yeah, no. But anyway, so... obviously the video plays, glitches, there's a girl, cell phone footage, but it's not, it's cell phone footage, but it's not tape. Guy's crying. Oh, he does have a camera. Oh yeah. It seemed like a very, like, one missed call kind of look to it. All in all, it's just like this guy and this girl, like, they're this couple, and they're just, you know, guys fucking around, as a lot of these kind of found footage things tend to be, where the guy's a camera, and the girl's like, oh my god, stop recording me, and the guy's like, oh my god, this camera, I'm just gonna record you, look at that ass, like, that kind of shit. And I don't know, I think at one point, like, there's, like, cops and all that stuff, and the guy's like, oh yeah, I want to follow this chase. Like, why do you want to do that? Like, you know, it's like, oh hey, look, like, the you know, the car chase that's happening on the news is totally happening, like, right out the window. Let me follow it. Because that's what you want to do. Like, no, just be like, oh, hey, wow, that's kind of funny yet unfortunate. That's my neighborhood, you know? And then that's it, but I don't know. Anyway, so the first segment, actually, I really liked. So, it's this whole, like, magician's assistant thing, Dateline kind of thing about a magician. He's got this magic cloak, you know? And he's illusionist, not magician, because nowadays they're known as illusionists, you know, because magic's not real. I wrote down, I don't get people who record their crimes. That is true. It's like all the times where you see people who are like, oh yeah, this guy posted on his Instagram, Snapchat, all those things about, like, how they're committing a crime, and I'm just like, why would you do that, you know? Because people are so, like, adept, so used to, let's try not to use a big word there, so used to, like, posting everything on social media that even while they're doing a crime, committing a crime, excuse me, or have committed a crime, they'll do that, you know, they'll be like, I heard there was a story where, like, a guy was, like, hiding from the cops, and he's, like, in a cupboard, and he Snapchats that he's in a cupboard. Oh, the cops can't find me, I'm in the like, how about you just not, you know? Part of it would be kind of smart to have your phone on you in case, but the other part could be like, you just leave the phone. Be like, oh, because people think, like, people are so attached to their phones, the guy doesn't have a phone on him. He probably just ran out, you know? Like, that kind of stuff. Anyway. This guy, the magician, illusionist guy, it's got this magic cloak, and the cloak needs to feed, you know? Like, this guy pretty much sold his soul to the devil kind of thing. That's... oh, fucking motorcycles. So, like, that's how this guy keeps... doing so well and stuff, because one, people think his magic is real, and two, like, the cloak needs to feed. The guy kills the assistant's ex-boyfriend by, obviously, having the cloak eat it. The girl burns the cloak after it devours the guy, comes back and gets her. What am I reading here? Yeah, so, pretty much, like, Okay, that's... Okay, yeah, so that's the next step. Yeah. So it was really cool. You see, like, this guy, like, he had this magic cloak, and, like, if people don't do his bidding or whatever, he has them get devoured by... Sorry, the piece of tape sound on this fucking Aeon Flux poster. You know, yeah, so he kind of seeks his revenge kind of thing, like... And it's like this... You could kind of, in a sense, teleport, you know, with it. You gotta go in the, like, the girl, like, found out, like, she kind of, like, gets the cloak and, like, teleports this one area, and it's, like, this kind of, like, final, like, boss battle scene. And I really enjoyed this one. This one was done really well. Because they utilized the whole, like, you know, Dateline and kind of thing, and then, like, a little bit of, like, security footage, and a little bit of, like, just the handheld stuff. Like good utilization of stuff. Anyway, so then the tie-in segment is the Cali kid on the... Yeah, so during California... Kid's on a bike trying to find the girl. Okay, everyone's way too excited about a cop chase. Some guy gets caught under the ambulance. Yeah, that was weird. Like, the guy's on a bike, and he's like, yeah, let's follow this cop chase and all this shit. And so when the guy is, like, following the car chase or something, some random person gets run over by an ambulance, and you're like, you know, and then, of course, it cuts to the next, you know, sequence. This one, it's, oh... This one was kind of cool. Like, I had a cool concept to it, and then it got really weird, as, again, a lot of these things happen, too. So it's a Spanish couple. The guy makes this kind of Stargate thing, but instead of, like, in a circle, it was actually, like, a door frame. And it's, like, a door to a parallel universe, like a mirror world kind of stuff. Because when he... This is a weird thing, is that when he it opens, and he's recording, like... He sees himself, obviously it looks like a mirror, but it's like, it's him, but it's like, oh, he's holding it with his, you know, right hand on here, but the opposite one, obviously the guy's holding the left hand, and like, literally everything's opposite. And so, of course, like, I don't know, it doesn't really explain, like, why he built it or how he built it. Like, the initial guy, his like girlfriend, wife or whatever, is like, oh, I'm going to bed. He's like, yeah. She's like, don't play down here too long. He's like, okay, like, you know, honey, I just made, like, a portal to a parallel universe. This is just something I do, you know. So anyway, so they decide to be like, hey, we'll come back in, like, an hour or something, after we explore each other's, like, plays. Okay, sure. So we follow, obviously, the main guy. He goes, obviously, everything's the same but opposite. So, whereas in his house, when he's going up the stairs, it's a picture of him and his girl. On the other guy's thing, when he's going up the stairs, it's like, looks like this weird, like, you know, like, sacrificial fucking, you know, like, thing where candles and a symbol, like a picture of that, because that's what you do, you get that framed, you know? Yeah, and so, of course, like, the initial guy's plays, camera's crooked, the initial guy's plays, you know, it's just, it's very, you know, kind of, it's simple, you know, like, he's got a wife or girlfriend or whatever, she, you know, like, she's there, it's a nice life, yada yada. He just built this portal to a parallel universe. Well, the opposite guy, Land, you know, he's got that picture of that, and he goes and sees, like, his wife, and she's there, and you hear, like, moaning, and you're like, what's going on? You know, he's like, maybe I'm, like, a bachelor in this, world. He goes, and it's the same girl he's with, but I guess they, like, are swingers or something, and so there's, like, two other guys, and you don't see any, like, sexual acts happening, but you hear, like, moaning and, like, spanking and whipping and like that, and you're like, oh, something naughty's happening in that room, you know? So then the guy realizes, like, okay, the life this other me lives is kind of weird, you know? But, like, at first, you know, anyone would be like, oh, I'm getting lots of poon, that's great, but then you're like, oh, my wife's just fucking a lot of dudes, never mind, you know? And then, yeah, and it gets really strange. Like, he ends up, like, stumbling upon, that sacrifice kind of thingy, and then there's aliens, and it looks like a they live kind of, you know, thing with the faces and shit, and then at the end I wrote here, I wrote, hand puppet dick, question mark, tons of exclamation points. I don't know, like, you know, you think like parallel universe kind of like whatever alternate universe kind of shit. Yeah, it's gonna be odd. You're not gonna be you. Oh jeez, you know. But the hand puppet dick, like that. Yeah, that no. No, done. Anyway, so the tie-in sequence. The guy is looking for the girlfriend or someone again. And like the video footage glitches, and you're at like some kind of gang party or something, gang affiliated party. Um, anyway, is that then like a barbecue fork? Like it gets into like a dog's head. I wrote WTF next to that. And then somehow everyone is forked. Like it's like, you know, shaky footage. I'm like, what's that? Oh, you know. And then I wrote down evil ice cream truck. Because it seems like anytime that ice cream truck is around, like that guy gets run over by the ambulance, and like it drove past his neighborhood, and like these people got forked and all that stuff, and then it's like, okay, anyway, next segment. It's a bunch of skaters. Each of them have like a GoPro on their helmets. And they're fighting, and then they decide to head to Tijuana. Tijuana. I'm like, Tijuana. It's too damn hot today. So they get to a spot. It's got like weird stuff around it, but it's like you know, it's kind of like the LA River kind of thing, where it's just like, you know, they just want the water to run down, but it's like like not as high up, but like a lower version of it. So they start skating around, and they see like some kind of weird voodoo shit, you know, like candles and plants and stuff, and again symbols on the ground. I think like this one, the theme is just like random voodoo shit. That's what it seems like. Anyway, so they start doing that, and then there's like a crazy woman, and they're like, oh man, what's up with that lady, you know? And all this, she like rips some guy's like arm off, like you do, you know. Like, I haven't gone skating in like forever, but I think when I did, when I was a teen, I don't think I remember seeing a woman get hurt, like ripping some guy's arm off. I don't know. Other people have ventured off like farther into the world than I have, so I don't know. Maybe others have seen stuff like that. And so it's like, I like how they have, like, they're such great friends that they have this mentality of like, well, we gotta, you know, like, fight, you know, because if this woman's gonna rip this guy's arm off, what are they gonna do to us, because we witnessed it. And I like how they just, you know, they get the skateboards and they're like beating them with it, and they're punching it, and one of the kids has a gun. That's what got me. I was just like, okay, you know, that's like, any non-American watching this would have been like, oh, I guess every American has a gun, and it's like, I'm like, okay, you know. It's like this kid has a gun. I started hearing gunshots, and I was just like, I thought like they found a gun, because it's Mexico. There's guns lying everywhere, you know, because you know, I think the stereotype of every American having a gun is weird, but in Mexico, guns are just lying around everywhere. Anyway, so yeah, the kids start shooting at it, and I'm just like, you know, what? And mind you, this is after all of the whole, like, ABCs of Death stuff, and by then I'm just like, I don't even know anymore. Oh, another that I wrote Fireblood. Fireblood! I think the blood catches on fire, bleeding skeletons, and I wrote down under that, never go to Mexico. That's the main reason, don't go, because people have fire blood. Yeah, it's just really weird, because it's like, all of a sudden, like, these skeletons show up, and they just start, like, the kids start, you know, firing at them, and then, like, they're skating away, and they're like, oh my god, dude, oh my god, and you're like, it's pretty much like you follow a bunch of, like, 3 little, like, shithead, you know, teenagers who are just fucking around like kids do. And then they stumble upon this thing, and they're just like... And I do like the fact that, like, it's very realistic in a sense, not with the whole voodoo shit. In a sense that, like, in all honesty, if you were with your friends and weird shit started going down, you would either run away, fight back, or fight back and then try to run away. And these kids actually did that, you know? It's not like you know, they kind of did the whole like, hey, what the hell? Like, but they weren't like, ma'am, are you okay? Because that was their voices. You know, they weren't doing that, and they're like, oh, well, I guess they, you know, they didn't do the whole, she ripped her arm off, whoa. Well, maybe we should take her to a hospital. It wasn't like that. Like, you know, they're just like, this bitch is crazy, and we're gonna have to, like, we're gonna have to fight back. Because all of a sudden, these random, you know, like all this fire started happening and these skeletons appear, you know, because that's normal. Oh, right, I forgot VHS is 3 segments. I'm like, I'm thinking it's 4 segments. No, VHS is always 3 segments. I'm so stupid. I always forget. For some reason in my mind I thought it was 4 segments. I was like, wait, did I miss something here? Which is funny because I actually I always tend to like draw like a line like to separate the segments and stuff, but then I squiggle it out. I'm like, never mind. Anyway, it's back to, you know, the tie-in sequence, and it's in a cab and people's noses are bleeding. Some girl's in a cab and it's getting kind of sexy, and she pulls the gun on the guy, and the car flips, glitches to a couple having a nice day, and it's like so weird. Like it gets to that, and you know it becomes one of those kind of things like, you're not gonna show anyone this, right? Oh, or is this gonna get kind of sexy? Hey, motherfucker! Like, oh, whoa! You know, she was like, yeah, you like that? You like when people want to take off your clothes? And you're like, all right, you know, yeah, and then glitches in. There's like a couple having a good, like having a nice day. I don't know what a nice day is. I think they're walking in a park or something, but they're having a nice day. What do you call that? So the boyfriend gets to, like, the main guy, gets to like this tunnel area, and there's a bunch of like discarded phones. Like, I think this is where I had the whole like one missed call kind of thing. It's the LA River. The ice cream truck is there. And then okay, yeah. So for some reason I don't like. That's the thing. It's like you don't know why he has to like. You know he's looking for his girlfriend kind of thing, but you don't understand why he kind of has to like follow this. Like it's just so weird. And like I was just like I don't know. Anyway, he goes to the ice cream truck. The back door is open. He goes in, and obviously they're not selling ice cream. It's a bunch of TV cameras in the van. What do you call it? And so then from there on, you're just, like, obviously the cameras are, there's cameras inside the van too, so then the guy kind of sees himself being recorded in some of the cameras as well, like, I'm being watched this whole time, whoa. The girl was outside van with phone in mouth, and then, yeah, I get, and then it says, because then I think, like, the doors close, because he realizes that the girl is actually outside the van. He's like, oh, let me go. Oh, clunk, as it happens. And then the phone, yeah, it's like this phone in mouth? What? I don't know. And it says, guy gets the bleeds, because that's because everyone just starts bleeding and stuff. And then I just wrote under that, Jesus fucking babies. And then it just ends. Like, it just ends from there. Like, okay. You know? I don't know, this isn't that good a one. The other two were better. Like, they had better segments, you know? This one was just like, weird voodoo shit, you know? Like, I don't know, maybe they're saying viral as in, like, I don't know. I don't know. I guess they couldn't figure out another name to call it. I guess they didn't want to call it VHS 3. They were like, let's call it something else. Call it viral, you know? I don't know, like, I don't know, like, the tie-in segment was all, like, you know, like I said, the first one was my favorite one, because it, like, was actually, like, it was far-fetched, but, like, enough to be believable, you know? The, the, the alternate universe one was just, it's just that, it was just, okay, you know, like, it's one of those where you're like, oh, this is gonna get weird, and then you're like, oh my god, this got so fucking weird. And then that last one with the kids, you're just like, I don't know. I don't know. Like, I don't know. It's weird to say, like, this one was better, like, than this one. And then, what was I saying? Let's not. And then there's that one. Yeah. So, let me just sleep separately. Let me just, I don't feel like it. You know, like, a couple times you're like, you can come over my bed, but they were like, just give me some space. So you see like the guy sleeping, and then it like would pan over to the girl, and then it would be like the girl sleeping, but then it would be like a hand on like a video of the kid on the computer. It's just like, yeah, I've been looking at this, and it's like they're not watching the entire video, what he's saying. Like, they'll just stop it, and it's like they'll stop it like right before he says something important, so after